Death by Tracey Mallaby. Signing the last of the day's paperwork, Death taps the forms into a neat pile and puts them on top of the filing cabinet before emptying the soul sack of the collected hourglasses. Turning the page in his diary, he begins checking the names belonging to the souls to be reaped next. As he calls each name aloud, the corresponding hourglass begins to glow. 24 names are in the same place, so he surmises that there's going to be a mass incident. He places these hourglasses in the soul sack and collects the forms to be completed upon his return. Checking his pocket watch, Death sees he has time to feed Freya, a stray tabby who has decided she's staying put. Gathering his reaping equipment, Death summons the tear in the universe that grants him passage, and taking a step backwards, he surveys the scene unfolding around him. People going about their business in a pretty town square. A young family laughing as they lick at melting ice creams. A dog yapping in the distance. An idyllic moment, but Death knows that something is about to happen. A scream, sharp and shrill and filled with fear, a sound Death knows well. He looks calmly towards the noise and sees a middle-aged woman being wrestled to the pavement. He waits. There is more to come. 24 lives will end in minutes. Another scream, followed by yelling. The crowd starting to panic and run. Pandemonium ensues. Screaming, yelling, running, bloodied people, staggering and falling. As they die, lights sparkle around them, visible only to Death, who steps lightly amongst the hysterical humans as he ushers the fresh souls into the soul sack. The final soul reaped, Death summons the tear and returns home. Paperwork complete, Death is placing the reaped hourglasses on the shelf when he notices that the sand in the bottom of the newly deceased hourglasses is hovering in the lower bowl. He's never seen anything like this before, ever. Something's not right. He looks at the life shelf and sees hourglasses glowing, a sign that death is imminent, but these souls are not ready for collection. It is long before their time. He collects his cloak and scythe and returns to the earthly plane to see the bodies of the dead rising up and attacking the living. He gathers souls quickly, not wanting to leave them with eternal pain, but as he turns and looks back, he sees the corpses jerking back to life. It should be impossible, but Death sees it happening before him. A newly risen body stumbles past him, so he reaches out and touches the shoulder. He cannot feel the hum of a soul in there. It's empty. The undead corpse turns and bites Death on the forearm, its teeth tapping on bare bone. Realizing there is no flesh to be had, it loses interest and shuffles away, moaning vacantly. In moments, all human life is extinguished, and Death steps back through the veil to his office. He works quickly and methodically, cataloguing the unexpected souls and filing the paperwork. Freya jumps up onto the desk and he rubs her head idly, mulling over this turn in events. He knows this is the zombie apocalypse that so many humans had obsessed over, that he had sneered and snickered at the mere suggestion of. Humbled, for the first time in his long existence, Death realizes that he must do something to end this devastating event if he is to keep his position as Grim Reaper. No human souls to reap means no employment, and then where would he be? But how to end this? Placing souls back into the corpses to reap would cause eternal pain, besides the fact that the bodies walking around have no souls anyway. Freya pads across the desk to the scythe, which is propped up, meows gently and looks Death straight in the eye. Nodding, Death takes hold of the blade and stands up. He knows what needs to be done. Long a symbolic icon, the scythe is now a weapon, and he sharpens the blade with renewed purpose. He conjures a tear in the veil and steps through. Up on his garage roof, Bob is terrified. There are dozens of zombies reaching up at him. He knows he was lucky to have been up there fixing a leak when it all happened, but he's been trapped for well over 36 hours, and dehydration is taking effect. A zombie hand finds purchase and starts to pull up. Bob hits it hard with his hammer, the only weapon he has, and the hand disappears. More shuffling, groaning corpses arrive at his gate and add to the crowd. He is going to die soon, and there's nothing he can do about it. Looking at the claw end of the hammer, Bob wonders how hard he would have to hit himself with it to die instantly, but he knows deep down he doesn't have the guts. Movement at the back of the crowd catches Bob's eye. A zombie drops out of view, quickly followed by another. There's a shimmer in the air and a faint metallic swoosh. Bob's heart sinks at the thought that he is hallucinating already. A head arcs through the air and lands at Bob's feet, teeth gnashing furiously. He kicks it away in panic and realises that he felt his foot make contact. This is no hallucination. One by one, the shambling corpses fall, heads bouncing and rolling away. As the last body drops, the shimmer intensifies in one spot, and he sees a hooded figure. The skeletal face nods once in his direction and disappears. Back in his office, Death is exhausted but exhilarated. He has a new aspect to his employment now, one he will likely be doing for some time if he is to save the human race. He resharpens his scythe and sets out again.